Anıtkabir in Ankara, Turkey. Anıtkabir, literally, memorial tomb, is the mausoleum of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the leader of the Turkish War of Independence and the founder and first president of the Republic of Turkey. It is located in Ankara and was designed by architects Professor Emin Onat and assistant Professor Ahmet Orhan Arda, whose proposal beat 48 other entries from several countries in a competition held by the Turkish government in 1941 for a monumental tomb for Atatürk. The site is also the final resting place of İsmet İnönü, the second president of Turkey, who was interred there after he died in 1973. His tomb faces the Atatürk Mausoleum, on the opposite side of the ceremonial ground. The mausoleum was depicted on various Turkish banknotes during 1966, 1987 and 1997-2009 and was included in the Turkish Chamber of Civil Engineers list of the 50 civil engineering feats in Turkey, a list of remarkable engineering projects realized in the first 50 years of the chamber. The great leader of Turkish independence war and Turkish revolution and the founder of Turkish Republic Mustafa Kemal Atatürk's life, with full of struggles for Turkish land's freedom and endeavors to raise the Turkish nation to the level of contemporary civilization, lasted 57 years. It ended on November 10, 1938 and the great leader passed to eternity. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk is a great leader, achieving to make Turkey a member of contemporary civilization with all its institutions, has a special place in the history of humanities. The idea to build a mausoleum to reflect his greatness in every respect and to present his thoughts on principles, his reforms and modernization, was the common desire of the Turkish nation in deepest grief of losing Atatürk. Before building of Anıtkabir, Anıtkabir's Monument Hill, name was Reza Tepe, Observation Hill, because there was an observatory on this hill. There were also tumuluses, graves, belonging to Phrygian civilization of 3rd century BC on this hill. Archaeological excavations took place to remove these tombs after the decision was given to build Anıtkabir on Reza Tepe. Remains found on these excavations are on display in the Museum of Anatolian Civilizations. The first stage to start the construction was the expropriation of the land after deciding on the Anıtkabir project. Actual construction of Anıtkabir commenced on October 9, 1944 with a splendid ceremony by laying the first stone of the foundation. Construction of Anıtkabir took 9 years in 4 stages. First stage of the construction, 1944 to 1945. First stage construction, comprising the excavation and the construction of the retaining wall of Lyons Road, started October 9, 1944 and completed in 1945. Second stage of the construction, 1945 to 1950. Second stage construction, comprising the mausoleum and the auxiliary buildings surrounding the ceremonial ground, started on September 29, 1945 and completed on August 8, 1950. At this stage, due to the problems related to the mausoleum's masonry and concrete structure foundations, some revisions had to be made. At the end of 1947 the excavation and insulation of the mausoleum foundation was completed and the steel reinforcements for the new 11-meter high concrete foundation, capable of resisting any kind of settlement of the ground, had come to near completion. Entrance towers, most part of the road network, orchard installations, plantation works and main part of the irrigation systems were also completed at this stage. Third stage of the construction, 1950. The third stage was comprising the construction of the roads leading to the mausoleum, Lyons Alley, Ceremonial Ground, the mausoleum's upper-level stone pavement, grand stairs, putting the big tombstone in its place and installation of electricity, plumbing, and heating systems. Fourth stage of the construction, 1950 to 1953. The fourth stage comprised the construction of the Hall of Honor's pavement, vaults underside linings, and the Hall of Honor's perimeter stone profiles and fringe decorations. The fourth stage had started on November 20, 1950 and completed on September 1, 1953. The Anıtkabir project originally had a vaulted ceiling above the mausoleum carried by the perimeter columns. On December 4, 1951 the government inquired the architects of the possibility of shortening the time of construction by lowering the 28-meter high ceiling of the Hall of Honors. After studying the subject, architects concluded that it was possible to cover the ceiling with a reinforced concrete slab instead of a stone vault. This change had reduced the weight of the ceiling and, therefore, certain risks were eliminated further. Easy-to-process porous travertine with various colors was used on external cladding of the concrete surfaces and marble was used for the inside surfaces of the mausoleum. White travertine that was used for sculpture groups, for lions figures and the mausoleum colons, is brought in from Pinabasi town of Kayseri, and white travertine used inside the towers is brought in from Polatli and Malikoe. Red and black travertine used for paving the ceremonial ground and floors of towers were brought in from Kayseri, Bogazkapri region, and yellow travertine brought in from Kankari. Eski Bazar was used for building the victory relief, Hall of Honor's external walls and perimeter colons of the ceremonial ground. Red, black, and cream color marbles used on the floor of the Hall of Honors were brought from Hatay, Adana and Çanakkale, and for the internal walls, tiger hide patterned marble from Afyon and green marble brought from Bilecik. Monolithic tombstone weighing 40 tons was brought from Osmaniye, Adana, and the white marble covering sides of the sarcophagus were from Afyon. 4. Anıtkabir's architectural properties. The period of the Turkish architecture, in between 1940 and 1950, is known as the era of Second National Architecture. During this period mostly monumental, symmetry-oriented, cut stone-clad buildings had been built. Anıtkabir carries the same characteristics of this era. Besides those characteristics, Anıtkabir also has Seljuk and Ottoman architectural characteristics and ornamentation features. As in the example of external walls and eaves, all around the towers are the Seljuk-style borders, known as saw teeth in Seljuk cut stone art. Cut stone ornamentation, namely passion flower and rosette used in some other parts of Anıtkabir, Mırmızık Tower, museum administration, can be found in Seljuk and Ottoman architecture as well. With all its qualities, Anıtkabir is one of the finest examples of its era, covering approximately 750,000 square meters. It is divided into two parts as Peace Park and Monument Block. A Peace Park. Inspired by Atatürk's famous phrase "Peace at home, peace in world," Anıtkabir rises above in Peace Park formed with plants received from all over the world and the country. Many plants and trees are brought in from Afghanistan, Austria, Belgium, Canada, China, Cyprus, Denmark, Egypt, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, India, Iraq, Israel, Italy, Japan, Norway, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, USA, United Kingdom, and Yugoslavia. Today, in Peace Park, there are 48,500 trees and ornamental plants of 104 different species and origins. B. Monument Block. Anıtkabir Monument Block has 3 sections. 1. Lions Alley. 2. Ceremonial Ground. 3. Mausoleum. When entered from Tandogan Gate and by the road through the Peace Park, you can reach at the 26 steps high ground stairs at the head of the Lions Alley. Independence and Freedom Towers are situated at both sides of this stair facing each other. Within the Anıtkabir site there are 10 towers situated in a symmetrical arrangement. They are named to symbolize the great ideals that influenced the creation of our nation and the state. The towers are similar in terms of planning and structure. The towers are rectangular, close to a square, with 12 x 14 x 7.20 meter dimensions and have pyramidal roofs. Bronze arrowheads are placed at the top of the roofs as in the old Turkish traditional tent. Geometric ornamentations, inspired by the old Turkish kilim patterns, are superimposed in fresco technique. Like us and join us at Extreme Collections for more fun and knowledge.